I'm going to give you a quick update on where we are with that. What you're seeing in front of you here, like I said, I showed you we have this bag into which the performance case goes. We've got this laser cut box case here. You can see there's a sort of modular bit along the top. And what we've done is we've laser cut this box. This week, where we made most progress was we built the power supply board for the case, so it could, be a housing for a bit of eurorack. Our idea was that it'd be nice to make a sort of modular case, which is both, sort of good for eurorack, but also good for sticking a few pedals in, good for carrying things around, but also works as a performance case. You could put some box synths in. We're developing, in conjunction with Cristiano from Synth, he's coming in to join us. He's helping us develop this very nice board, which are sort of mini modules, which will, go across the case like this. These are a number of little sort of passive elements, like send returns for pedals, a little polar mixer, and some mults, all these various elements which are passive but add a bit of functionality and a little bit of collaborative potential for whatever gear you have. So so we're enjoying that. But like I said, we're going to focus on this week and just telling you what we did in terms of like the power for this. So I'm not sure whether you can see it, but this is powered via a USB power bank. So this is our 100-watt USB power bank. It's very handy. It's got a nice little readout here, which allows you to see how long you have left with the current setup. So basically, our current little 84 HP element here will last another 20 hours with that power bank. So that's nice to have that sort of bit of information. Like I said, we built this power element into it in such a way that a standard USB, and the important bit is that it has to support the PD, or power delivery protocol. So if you have a USB power bank and it supports the PD protocol, such as this one, I think we've said this particular power supply we've made is just needing 12 volts. So pretty much any PD power bank will give you 12 volts. We've made it so it takes up to 20 watts, or provides up to 20 watts. This is currently taking 6 watts, so that 84 HP, and you got a few decent sized modules in there. They're not all analog, there's quite a possibility there in terms of power, and we could of course make a bigger one. But I want to talk you through the various incarnations of the power bank, if I could. So I'll take you through week by week. I mean, the first week, this was our power solution. You can see it's very loosely made. It's a butchered cable with a DC input, and we have hand soldered some elements onto it. It has our connectors here on the back. We've actually stolen some elements from that in order to make the next version, but that was our sort of week 1 version of it, which maybe was a 1-hour job. The second version of it was a bit more complex. You can see more connectors. Probably the standout here is that you've got both a DC connect and a USB-C connect. So we've built the USB PD power delivery element into it at this stage. So not only is it providing power, but it's converting USB to DC power and allowing you to use that. So that was the next one. So it'd be pretty tricky for you to see, but you've got a DC port here, you've got a USB-C port here. This is a very crude module backing that we've just sort of put on here in order to sort of fix it up. But we've put that and then an on-off switch. I mean, I can actually take out this setup here, and you'll see it's a bit tricky, but maybe you'll be able to see. I'm just going to take off. I have a few elements here. This is just our myVolts mixer there, a little passive mixer, which is on the side of the rack. That's an easy way to go out to the speaker and allow a couple of analog elements to be triggered. But yeah, I just want to show you that you can see the actual, there's a newer board in there. You can probably just see the green LED lights on it. But you can see that it's coming through from the USB, and that's powering that board there. I can show you what that board looks like in its basic form. You can see here, this is the PCB that we got made up. I mean, and just in terms of how we work, we don't have that access to that facility here, but for, I think we got 4 of these boards made up for, I think, 60 euros at a local facility. So, you know, I mean, after that, obviously we have to do some work in terms of putting some connectors and soldering on, but just to give you an idea of, obviously we also have an in-house engineer who can design the board, but once that work is done, it's maybe a 20-minute job to solder the components onto it, and you've got a working power supply for eurorack. So yeah, so as with any element of the making of the case, we have to take everything step by step, and this moves on, at least on the power side, we now have a good situation. So yeah, so like I said, I'll just like quickly talk you through the case. This is a sort of mock-up handle here. We wouldn't be holding on to that, but what we're making is we're making something which can slip into the bag. You know, we're going to put like a top part, you know, a sort of lid on it. So, I mean, a little bit like, I don't know if you know those Singer sewing machines that have a sort of like a clasp on either side, and you can have your whole setup, you know, ready and waiting, covered and available to you, but it also fits very well into this bag, which will allow it to be portable and allow you to move stuff around. I'm just going to say, Cristiano, I can't actually see the information from Instagram, but if anyone has any questions, maybe you can pass them on to me. Okay, yeah. So just to run through the box, like I said, 84 HP of eurorack up top. We have these sort of slide-in elements. We're going to make it so we have that strip of eurorack, this sort of mini eurorack format. We're going to give the possibility of 1 or 2 of these. These acrylic laser cut elements, you know, can slide in or out. So you can make it whatever size or shape you want. We've one at the end. We're actually going to put, you know, a hinge at the bottom here. So this bottom part will slide down. Our idea is that we will also make it sort of digitone, digitact, syntact friendly. So make it so it's 2 digitacts wide. So you'll be able to slip in 2 digitacts into the bottom of the case, or a digitone, digitact, whatever. A small electron box will fit in there comfortably. And once you've done that, you can you know, have both access to your modular, but also have, you know, your synth elements. You can throw a couple of Volcas in there as well, whatever suits you, whatever you like to jam with. So pedals, Volcas, sequencers, digitacts, whatever you want. This idea of like a case, like I said, a modular case. You wouldn't even have to be putting any modular into it. It's just it's a case which can serve many purposes. So yeah, I mean that's the general idea. Like I said, hopefully these elements will be able to. We're making it in this sort of 2-ply format. So there are just little receptors for the different dividers, and that will allow you to compartmentalize any of the different components you have. Just to sort of walk you slightly around it, another idea we had was we thought maybe if we're making these little mini modules, maybe we could put outputs here on the side. That would work very well for people who are looking to jam together. Like I said, if you're bringing this out to a park, to be able to sort of access and get into the send return elements and access effects and stuff like that. So that's the reason for these elements here. We've got them repeated on the other side. Yeah, so I mean, that's the basic box. We've talked about the power side. Next week, we're going to have, this is just a paper version of the modules, but we will have the printed circuit version. Last week, if we actually talked a bit more about this, but we will next week have the proper version of it, and we'll maybe look at some of the different features and effects. I mean, this is a made-up version of the same thing, but this is actually a functional model with, you can see a connector there. This is not made on PCB, but it's made out of a piece of card which has been printed, but you can see the various control elements there. And yeah, so like I said, this is functional, but we're gonna make the finished version of this. It'll look a bit more like this. It'll slip into our case. We'll maybe have a look at some of the features, how that's working. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's the case, and that's sort of where it's at. I think now it might be an idea for me just to show you a little bit about the bag and where we are with that, because we are making some progress with that. Next week we'll have a bigger update about the bag, but we'll just show you where that's at. So if I just move this away. So yeah, like I said, I'll just show you quickly. I think a lot of you will know that the bag has, like I said, this is prototype 2. We're hoping that prototype 3 will be on the way next week. We have this sort of central area here, which the case sits onto. Now, so the idea is that you can very easily open the 2 zips, access this. This will be lidded at that point. But we're also thinking this week that even if you didn't want to do that, you could, like this space is kind of perfect for what we're thinking is putting the soft side of Velcro here, making this sort of, Velcro hook friendly. And that way, I saw a lovely video on YouTube where the guy had made a sort of pedal board, which is basically a piece of cardboard, where he had put the adhesive back of the soft side of Velcro on, and then he put his hook Velcro on the underneath of his pedals, and on synths or whatever. He even had some boxes which he Velcroed as well to give him a bit of height and get the things at different sizes. But that made me think that why don't we make this Velcro friendly, and that way you can put your synths together, put in a bit of packing, zip the thing up, and regardless of whether you have a performance case or not, you have a nice simple setup that isn't going anywhere in terms of movement. It's nice and safe, but at the same time it's very flexible in terms of bringing it to different locations. So yeah, so I'm really happy about that as an idea, because I think it really brings a bit of excitement to the project. Every time you have a new idea with a project like this, it sort of brings it on a little bit. I woke up at about 5:30 on Thursday morning, earlier than I wanted to, and didn't want to disturb my wife, but I went through sort of thinking about this bag and different elements of it, and it's just such a wonderful place to be with a project, to be able to sort of toy around with it in your head, and as a sort of place to go, as a place to like explore your creativity and create new ideas. If you have an idea that's developing and waiting for improvements, it really does make life a bit more colourful. It's great. So yeah, no, I was really enjoying that, and that was how I had that idea about the Velcro, which I think is great. Like I said, we will have this is a zip-up guy here, so you're able to hide away your thing. It'll have a lid, and then we will look at how that works. There's a number of other different features that we'll talk about next week, but I wanted to just quickly talk to you about the idea of, well, what materials we're going to use, because this is an important part. I mean, as we speak, Katie is sitting over to my right, and she has just cut and is making up the third version of the bag. And that third version will be quite like this bag, but we're going to use materials that are quite close to what we will use as the finished materials. So number one, it'll be waterproof, which is key. So this is, you won't be able to see an awful lot of this, but this is the exterior material we're going to use for the bag. Like I said, you can't see an awful lot, but it's actually got quite a lovely finish. It almost has, it's a nylon ripstock. It's 900D, so it's very waterproof, but it's got a nice sort of slightly rugged quality. It's maybe a little bit like a denim or something like that, and I think it'll wear very well, as well as being strong. So it's got that rugged, but with a bit of give and a bit of its own flavor as well. I think it's going to make a lovely, sort of exterior for the bag. And what we'll probably do is we'll pair that up maybe with a more colorful, thinner, sort of water resistant but not waterproof internal ripstock nylon. Again, I think there's a lovely weave in that. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's a really nice sort of bit of material. Overall, we're going to make a bag that's quite subtle, but we want it to have fun as well. We want it to be vibrant and playful, and even in terms of texture, we're talking about maybe putting some elastics in to, as cable carries, or even some sort of foaming elements to create sort of packing, but also make it, look, fun and something like you want to sort of that's taking care of your gear, but at the same time is nice to take out and to sort of play with. So yeah, but that's like I said, next week we'll have a version of that which is going to be sort of at least with this material with some waterproof zips. We'll be able to see what's going on then with the material and how it works together. We'll maybe talk a little bit more about the different internal elements. We're thinking maybe you guys will let us know the idea of maybe you might like to sort of in the front panel have a place to slip in your MacBook or maybe an iPad or whatever else, somewhere that's safe, get it properly protected, but sturdy within the frame of the bag, as people are often, sort of wanting to bring more than just their gear somewhere. Yeah, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the update. Like I said, we're having a blast making this, and I hope you guys are enjoying seeing how we work. This project is maybe like a bit of a side project for us, but that gives us a bit of freedom in it, and we're sort of enjoying, first of all, the collaborative nature of it. I was saying last week, that it's a really great motivational energy to be working with a few people in a good routine, trying to sort of move a project on, and before we know it, we'll have this great bag and this great performance case, and it'll be great to see. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you next week if you're around.